Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WWE News and Rumors. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Brandon Hodge here, and welcome back to another juicy episode of WWE News and Rumors. So we have a lot of news and rumors to talk about today, so enough chit-chat, let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first news story, this has been announced by the WWE. This coming Monday will mark the first Monday Night Raw in the brand new Thunderdome, the brand new Tropicana Field Thunderdome. The question is, what is even the difference in the two? They've basically made the Tropicana Field look like a clone of the Amway Center. The way they've done this is they're not even really using the field. They basically went down on the field and they've built like a box, like the same size as the Amway Center, and put the screens up. They're not even utilizing any of the seating or anything in the actual field stadium thing. So yeah, it's kind of a weird setup. But basically, this news story is WWE said this Monday will be the first Raw, obviously, and actually it's going to be a little bit special because the Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse is going to be having a field trip actually to Tropicana Field. So I don't know how this is going to work, if he's actually going to be inside the ring doing the Firefly Funhouse. I don't know, it's going to be interesting, but they've announced that. And that's this news story. The Firefly Funhouse Super Field Trip is coming up this Monday, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. You know it's going to be crazy, and we'll just have to wait and see what he does. Okay, the next news story. The next news story is actually the final one before we jump into some juicy rumors. This one is about the Slammy Awards. So the Slammy Awards is WWE's end of the year award. They always give they have the trophy. It's the Slammies, right? There's like a trophy guy slamming another trophy guy, and it's a Slammy Award. Yeah, it's special. It's special, okay? So basically, they'll do awards like Match of the Year, or like Superstar of the Year, Women's Wrestler of the Year, things like that. They're actually doing it the week after next. They're putting this off like last minute. Normally, like the Slammies, I want to say, are like around the 10th of December or something, in tradition, but obviously they haven't done the Slammies in a few years, actually. And this actually is not going to be on an episode of Raw or SmackDown or anything like that. It's its own little WWE Network special, I guess. And I guess it's not exclusive to the WWE Network. They're going to be live streaming it on like YouTube too. So that's interesting. You're here on YouTube right now, so they'll be streaming it on YouTube as well. And basically it is going to be December the 23rd. So the day before Christmas Eve. If you celebrate Christmas, you know when that is. But it's December 23rd. It's going to happen. The Slammy Awards, it's going to be on the network and YouTube and I guess other social media platforms, live stream. But yeah, they're doing that. Slammy Awards. So my vote for Superstar of the Year, if I had to vote, and I know you can vote, I don't know if your votes actually matter, because I remember in previous years, they would just fake like a voting system and actually didn't count the votes. But if I had to choose, I guess Superstar of the Year for me would be Mr. Bray Wyatt. So there you guys have it. Those are the only confirmed news stories I had to talk to you guys about today. But don't you guys dare go anywhere, because things are about to get juicy. Things are about to get good. I'm going to use my catchphrase. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the news stories. And now we're going to talk about some juicy rumors. Okay, the first rumor. The first rumor is actually not about a wrestler. It's about a rapper. It's about Snoop Dogg. So Snoop Dogg's done a lot of collaborations with WWE in the past. Recently he did stuff with The Undertaker, and they had Undertaker and Snoop Dogg shirts available for sale, and they were pushing those things everywhere. Obviously, he's the cousin of the current SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks. He played her out to WrestleMania, and he was he's been guest host of Raw before, I believe. And he did stuff with Hulk Hogan before, I remember. And he's been all over WWE doing stuff, so he's been associated. If you had to think of a rapper as a guest on WWE television, you would think of Snoop Dogg. But basically, Snoop Dogg has gone to AEW, guys. Snoop Dogg is all elite now, and apparently that's rubbed WWE the complete wrong way, and they've actually deleted all of Snoop Dogg's merchandise off of WWE shop, and they've basically said, okay, so he's AEW now, so we're not having him back here. So I don't know if Snoop Dogg realized the magnitude of just appearing on AEW television that would rub WWE the wrong way. I don't know if he realized that or not, but basically that's what he's doing. He's going to be on AEW television here pretty soon. So yeah, they pulled all of his merch. So WWE, they sent some big men back down to NXT for some additional safety training on how to be safe in the ring to protect their opponents. There's a bunch of big men that was on the list, but the two notable ones are Otis and actually Keith Lee. Keith Lee just had that network special saying how great he was and everything, and he's always been praised being a great wrestler and a great, he's a safe guy. He knows what he's doing, okay? And Keith Lee was sent back down to NXT, and this group of wrestlers who needed additional safety training. And I mean, a lot of people were like, maybe that was a mistake. He wasn't really supposed to be sent down there. He was kind of just grouped with the other guys and kind of just sent there. Okay, Keith Lee shouldn't have been there. That's the end of that. But they sent Otis down there as well. Apparently, the reason they sent Otis down is because he has demonstrated before that he could be a little bit safer in the ring. I mean, he's not horrible or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy just to think you can be on the main roster. You can be on Raw and SmackDown and, you know, on pay-per-views and all of that. And you can still be told, hey, yeah, I get you're in WWE, the biggest, you know, wrestling promotion in the world. You're supposed to be like one of the greatest wrestlers in the world if you're on this television show. But we're sending you back down to NXT to teach you how not to hurt someone in a match. I mean, it sounds like Nia Jax should have been in that list, but she wasn't. But maybe that's just me taking a jab at Nia Jax and just... Nia Jax, okay. They sent Keith Lee and Otis down. I've not heard really any rumblings at all of them hurting people. And I've heard tons about Nia Jax hurting people, and even as rare as it's been, Seth Rollins, I don't really want to put him in that group. I know, like, Bret Hart called Seth Rollins out for being unsafe in the ring. There's a few other people that could have been on the list other than Keith Lee is what I'm trying to get at. But it's just crazy they actually did that. Okay, the next rumor is about women's wrestler Charlotte Flair, the daughter of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. So Charlotte Flair, where in the hell is she? Okay, we know pretty much where she is. She got an injury. No, she's not still injured. She's probably cleared at this point, but she's been doing some like stuff for Hollywood, I guess, like some TV shows and movies and stuff like that. Also, like, I guess training at the Performance Center, just kind of, you know, trying to be the best version of her she can possibly be. But the question remains, when is Charlotte Flair coming back? And now we kind of have a date. It's actually going to be around Royal Rumble time. I don't know exactly at the Royal Rumble. I think best off, if you're going to be returning around that time, just wait and have you be like a surprise return in the Royal Rumble. So my guess personally, Charlotte Flair will be a surprise return in the Women's Royal Rumble match. But you know, it could be before or even after that. But if I was booking, which I'm not, it would be better if I was, but if I was booking, that's what I would do. Okay, the next news story. The next news story is about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So in the last episode of WWE News and Rumors, I talked about the main event of WrestleMania 37. A lot of people were thinking in their heads it was going to be Rock and Roman Reigns, cousin versus cousin, I guess generation versus generation. It was going to be amazing. It's just going to be a huge, spectacular, and then I kind of had to break your guys' dreams down and say, The Rock cannot wrestle at WrestleMania 37. First off, he hasn't had a match since WrestleMania 29. A lot of people like to point to WrestleMania 32, but that wasn't an official match. His last official long match was against John Cena, and he got injured quite badly and had a pretty bad hernia and had to have surgery on his hernia. So that was just a total mess. So obviously he didn't want to really get into doing the wrestling too much anymore and risking injury because he has a lot of higher profile things to do in Hollywood and stuff like that. But you know, if you're thinking about The Rock having another high profile match, having an actual match again, if he just does like one more, who would it be against? It's going to be against Roman Reigns. So it makes sense to do that at WrestleMania 37, but apparently Rock has a lot of different obligations and contracts in Hollywood saying he cannot be into a dangerous match like that. So The Rock was actually asked about this himself. He was asked, can you have a match against Roman Reigns? Will you have a match against Roman Reigns? And he said, I will do it. I will have a match against Roman Reigns, but I can't do it until 2022. Which is probably a better thing because the pandemic should be gone by then and fans should be able to actually go to WrestleMania normally. I mean, I know they're pushing to have fans at WrestleMania 37, but it's kind of iffy. But as for WrestleMania 38, as 2022, hopefully things would be semi-normal and it would just feel like a normal WrestleMania. So that's probably better off anyway, but yeah, that's what The Rock has said. He will face Roman Reigns. He will have a match against Roman Reigns, but he can't do it until 2022. So it looks like WrestleMania 38 is going to be the ticket. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final news story, the final rumor, the final thing we'll be talking about inside of this episode of WWE News and Rumors. It's about what I was just talking about. So what does it mean for WrestleMania 37? Who's Reigns' opponent for WrestleMania 37? We've already said it's not The Rock. It's not Big E. They have no plans for Big E, which it could change. It could change, or, you know, Big E could just win the Rumble or something. This past week, there's been a lot of rumors about Goldberg, because Goldberg was on the Bump show on the WWE Network and basically teased it and said, I'm coming for you, or whatever. And Reigns is talking back, and it looks like, maybe it could be Goldberg. But apparently right now, the other two names being thrown around are Drew McIntyre, which doesn't really make a lot of sense since he's the WWE champion, and this isn't Survivor Series. We're not doing champion versus champion. So I'm not sure why McIntyre is the name being thrown around. And the other name being thrown around is Mr. Daniel Bryan. Now, I'm all for that. Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, main event of WrestleMania 37 for the Universal Championship. I'm all for that. I think that's a good match. Definitely brings me back to like 2014 and 2015 when they were doing their wonderful feud. I don't want to say wonderful feud, but when everyone hated Roman and Daniel Bryan was trying to help him out, I remember that quite fondly. But yeah, so that's the two names. But knowing WWE, it could be Goldberg. Other than that, I would say Daniel Bryan. I definitely don't see McIntyre. I don't know about you guys. But obviously, nothing's really written in stone or really even written in pencil yet. Apparently, like Vince McMahon himself, the guy who's mostly making the decisions for these kind of things, he doesn't even have Royal Rumble figured out yet. He doesn't know who's winning the Royal Rumble or anything like that. So he's definitely not even thinking about WrestleMania yet. He's just kind of in the moment, trying to figure out how to finish out the rest of the year, and then around January or like hopefully in a few weeks he'll figure out Rumble. But yeah, nothing's really even penciled in yet, but just far out, kind of distant thought, this is what they have so far, I guess. So there you guys have it. That is going to do it for this episode of WWE News and Rumors. Right now on screen, I am going to leave a link to my previous video, as well as a link to subscribe to this channel if you're brand new here. Also, channel members are enabled. And guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm Brandon Hodge, and I will see you guys in the next video.